Hi and welcome to Your Careers. In today's episode, we are going to discuss the ever-changing field of retail management. I'm Pervin Malhotra, this is Zubin, and we will take you through the ins and outs of careers in this field, particularly the way it has changed post-COVID.
What does retail management entail?
Well, retail management entails a number of functions. Number one, buying the product, stocking the products, maintaining the inventory, marketing, the in-store experience, the customer experience, the fulfillment of the order, taking the payments, till the customer leaves the store, the display, the visual merchandising of the products, managing the staff on the shop floor and the way they interact with the people. All of this is retail management, but retail management today in the context of what we are discussing is not just in-store management, but also increasingly what we see, which is e-commerce and online-based retail.
So obviously the distinction between the two would be they're on online, while a lot of the back-end functions of inventory, of merchandising, of marketing, customer relationship management and fulfillment continue to exist. However, the interaction with necessarily a person on the sales floor or in the store is not there. So that's the key distinction, and also of how perhaps a customer comes to and purchases, of course, differs between the online and the physical world. All right. So normally this would not be a course or a specialization offered at the bachelor's level. There are institutes which are now offering these. There is also a general BBA which is far more prevalent and popular. What are the pros and cons of doing a BBA retail management specialization at the bachelor's level, as well as how does a student choose between the BBA general and the BBA retail program?
Before I come to to answering your question, let me just set the context. You know, particularly in the context of e-commerce and retail, because look at COVID. Storefronts were closed, but purchasing continued. We all continued buying. In fact, online sales increased by 50% during the shutdown. All right. Now, when we talk of e-based commerce, as far as that is concerned, there's a lot of technology that is involved,
sure,
which is not to that extent involved in in-store retail. All right. So there are now increasingly the large format e-commerce platforms like Amazon, Walmart, Flipkart, etc. They are going for robotics. They're going for robotics in terms of fulfillment or stocking, maintaining the inventory. You know, a robot today in the COVID scenario even can deliver and fulfill far quicker than a human being maintaining protocols, safety protocols. All right. Not only robotics, but artificial intelligence, you know, equipping the marketing team of the company to make decisions based on customer preferences in the past, and even plotting down to each individual customer's purchase habits, recent and in the past, and his likes, dislikes, even profiling of the customer, etc. So all this has become highly automated, and it's almost a personalized experience that is being delivered in a from a non-personalized platform. Now, stuff like this is not just about how you deal with your customer, how politely, how well you speak and present yourself and stuff like that, but there are all these other analytics and other aspects, logistics, etc., that you need to be aware of and which you could specialize in, which were never earlier taught in smaller programs or specifically in a BBA program, which is a broad-based course which tells you a little about marketing and a little about finance and a little about business accounting, etc. So I feel that in a scenario where so many BBA programs are available, undifferentiated BBA programs are available, if you do something that is a little more specialized and in demand, the most important operative phrase in this is in demand. So if you were to do a course like this at the bachelor's level, you will learn everything that you will learn in a normal BBA course plus about a particular segment, in this case retail. So it would always stand you in good stead. Also, not everyone is going to jump into an MBA subsequently. All right, there are many people who would want to do something of their own startups, entrepreneurship. For all of this, if you want to start your own little online selling operation, a BBA in retail management would be sufficient to kickstart, because if you want to go online, start your operation online, you don't need huge resources. You could set up your store on Amazon or Etsy or any of these platforms. You only need an initial amount to invest in your initial purchases, and after that the demand will drive, automatically it will create the resources for you to go forward. Now, even for things like this, a BBA retail management would be a very good option.
Should you be choosing this at the bachelor's level?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Instead of doing a plain vanilla BBA, I would always say that something like this, not something highly narrowly specialized, but something like this.
So apart from physical shopping and e-commerce shopping, are there other industries where students of retail management programs could possibly find jobs?
Certainly. You could look at the banking sector. All right.
On the retail banking.
On the retail banking sector. You could look at food operations. It could be restaurants, it could be food supplies, those kind of companies, theme parks, even entertainment, broader entertainment
and leisure centers.
Yes, leisure centers, all of these, the entire hospitality sector,
right,
hotels, etc., all of these, travel tourism, all of these will require, people who have a background in business and retail.
So now, you touched upon an aspect about, the technology behind retailing, but that's a double-edged sword, because as you mentioned, if there are robots in the warehouses which are picking, that means it's also cutting down on the number of human jobs in the retail specific areas, because on the robots and the programming, those are all technology and IT jobs, not necessarily from students from a commerce and a management background. So how do you see that playing out?
But you will require people in marketing. You will require people in with a background in retail who can also do number crunching and analytics. All of this. You will require people for buying. Buying purchases cannot be done by robots. You have to have humans who will combine the data they have gathered to what will ideally suit their customer base. So you require people like these. Then also stocking your stores, whether at the back end or as in terms what are called dark stores, that is fulfillment centers through which some of these biggies operate.
Right.
So stuff like that, and coordinating with all of them, your fulfillment centers, etc. Then your delivery guys, managing those, although a lot of it is contracted and outsourced, but still you need to coordinate all of that. So then the entire experience of sanitizing your stores and cleaning up your purchases, and I'm not saying that all of it is going to turn e-commerce. There are certain categories of products which cannot be sold. You won't go and buy a car online. You may read about it, the specs, etc. online, but you will go to an automobile store for that experience. You will not buy real estate online, ever. You will go there and you need to see it for yourself and convince yourself that that's what you like and the specs and how well it's constructed, etc. So there are many jewelry. You will not buy high-end precious jewelry of online. junk jewelry, party jewelry, certainly, very expensive clothes, bridal wear. You might buy a kurti like this or a shirt like yours, but if a bride will certainly not buy her outfit online.
Right.
So, and now how to make this, so the retail, the in-store retail will continue, albeit on a smaller level, but how to make this experience more delightful, memorable for the customer, how to have cashless deliveries, how people walking in and walking out, checking out without human interaction or touching kiosk purchases,
right,
etc. So all these need to be worked out, and so somebody who has a background in all of this could be a valuable asset. You may start off as a storefront person or one of these areas and then rise up the level.
So which means the academic side of this and the course structure needs a lot of updation and to become current industry requirement compatible.
Very good point, because all that we see in the industry today, the courses that we see in the industry today were designed in the 19th century for 20th century, and they are bound to fail if we are going to apply these for the 21st century. For that we require 21st century components to be integrated into the course. So given the number and variety of options there are in this industry and the specializations and roles that you can play, retail is going nowhere. The medium may change from offline to online or a blended model, which is happening increasingly, because end of the day you have to make your sale, or the purchase has to happen. Now it could be a combination of both or one or the other, and so these are the areas, whether there's a recession, there's a boom or a bust, products need to sell and people need to survive given the conditions they are in. Today you may not be able to buy very expensive stuff, you may buy low end stuff, but if you need food, you need food, you need clothes, you need clothes, and therefore I think a field like retail has a lot of future. You do it at the bachelor's level. If you like it and want to go further, of course you can do a master's, even an MBA in retail management, or if you've already done a bachelor's BBA with retail, then what you can do is perhaps a 1-year postgraduate diploma in retail management and get going. So we hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please like, subscribe and share it with your friends so that we can continue to offer you many more such videos on the upcoming careers of the future. This video was brought to you courtesy Banavrachna University.